my 14-year-old daughter joined Instagram. She and her friends began having awful experiences, including repeated unwanted sexual advances, harassment. She reported these incidents to the company, and it did nothing.
That was Arturo Bejar, a former Meta engineer, sharing his personal experience with the company before a Senate panel on Tuesday. He claims the tech giant dismissed warnings about unwanted sexual advances and widespread bullying aimed at teens on Instagram. A 2021 study from the think tank Data for Progress found 56% of Americans think the federal government should do more to regulate social media. But Tim Wu, a Columbia Law School professor, writes in The Atlantic that Congress hasn't done much to protect kids. Tim Wu joins me now in studio. Tim is a Julius Silver Professor of Law, Science, and Technology. He also served in the Biden administration as a former special assistant for technology and competition policy. Tim, I want to start there. When you were in the administration, you actually heard from parents talk about this. What are we talking about here in terms of the kind of online behavior? I mean, this was absolutely heartbreaking. We'd go to these meetings, in would come mothers who had lost their sons or daughters to suicide from bullying, to experiments on TikTok with choking or things like that. You know, they pictures, and all they said to us, do something. That's it. And just in terms of the companies, what's the company response to this before we get to Congress and what the federal government can do? I mean, the companies say they want to stop this kind of behavior. Yeah, I mean, the companies say we're doing our best. Obviously, we don't want children to be hurt by the internet, but they also see young people as a target market. They also face very little pressure. You know, I have friends who work at the companies behind the scenes. They say the federal government doesn't really force us to do anything. Congress calls us in, yells us a bit. That's the end of it. So we could force them to do a lot more. And, you know, it's not even the most acute situation, which we've been talking about. You wrote so eloquently years ago about the attention economy. I mean, it is the way in which companies use our attention and grab our attention and then don't let go. That's a part of this problem as well. Yeah, I mean, we have a big problem. We've allowed this sort of addictive product to be amidst all of us, and it is particularly affecting the mental health of teens. I think the science is getting stronger and stronger. Yet somehow the legislature still can't do anything about it. Well, and as you write in The Atlantic, this is a topic that has broad bipartisan support, and the public wants it. So what happened? Yeah, it's crazy. The public clearly wants something to be done. The president has endorsed legislation. I think both parties, I think there was ever a vote. I've been tracking this. There has not been a single vote in the Senate or the House on a child protection bill in the internet age. Nothing. But there have been a lot of hearings. There's been, I counted 39 hearings. Yeah. So members of Congress are very happy to have a show, talk, yell at the company executives, and then do absolutely nothing. And why is that? I mean, there's actual legislation, a couple of pieces of legislation. Where's it falling down? Yeah, I understand Congress, and the explanations don't make a lot of sense to the outside. Has a lot to do with committees bottling things up. Has a lot to do with competing priorities, a larger privacy bill perhaps. Has a lot to do with special interest groups, the Center of Democracy and Technology, other groups saying, we don't like these bills, we think they're censorship of teenagers and things like that. So there's a lot of factors, but it all adds up to the same thing, no votes whatsoever, incredibly anti-democratic. From a legal perspective, that censorship question, are there legitimate arguments there, or can it be worked around? I don't think so, and I think the bill was amended very carefully to say none of these laws should be interpreted to prevent anyone from reaching content they want to. What the bills want to do is to stop Facebook, TikTok, other things from surfacing content to vulnerable teens that encourages eating disorders, encourages suicide. There's these terrible experiments. People go out, you have a young girl's account, a fake account, and says, I want to look thinner, and suddenly you start getting material encouraging eating disorders. It's terrible stuff. Yeah, Senator Blackburn had set up such a fake account, and that happened to that. Yeah, there was Blumenthal, I think, was most prominently did, but there's been a couple experiments like that. And so what exactly, in the best legislation, what kinds of provisions could be put forward to stop some of this? I mean, does it put it on the companies? Does it require them to hire more? How do the carrots and sticks work here? Yeah, I think from my perspective, and when I was in the White House, we thought we just need
to force the companies to spend more money and to be accountable when these terrible things happen. Hire more staff. You know, we always have complaints about parents. We can't reach anybody. Our children, you know, there's nobody there. Everyone's had the experience trying to reach like Facebook on the phone. It doesn't work. And, you know, to bear some greater responsibility. There are bills. There's a bill called the Child Online Safety, Kids Online Safety Act, which is in Congress right now. 50 co-sponsors, still hasn't seen a vote.
What about the bully pulpit, the president? What role could he play in getting Congress to move on this?
You know, he's in successive State of the Unions, he's called on Congress to do more to protect children. He's had Frances Haugen at the State of the Union. It's actually extraordinary. The president was 100% ready, you know, is going for it. And I think, you know, the White House is behind this. Maybe they could do a little more, but I mean, the ball is in Congress's court.
Tim Wu, professor at Columbia Law School. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank you.
Good to see you. If you or someone you know needs help, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call, text, or chat the hotline using the 3-digit number 988.